Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Autism Stories. I'm your host, Doug Fletcher, the founder of Autism Personal Coach. Autistic people are the true experts of the autistic experience, and Autism Stories is where we interview autistic people to learn from their diverse stories, experiences, and get their insights. If you would like to be notified about each week's episode of Autism Stories, we suggest you subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. On today's episode, Padma, Jyothi, and Navneet Kulkarni join us to discuss Indian non-speaking autistics and the power of gratitude. We hope you enjoy today's conversation. Padma and Navneet, thanks so much for joining me here on Autism Stories.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for the opportunity.
I'd like to start with Navneet and learn, where does your story in the autistic community begin?
When I started communicating through typing my story highlighted on social media, through my write-up, I shared my journey of autism. Real revolution began when I wrote about my self-advocacy. I have my own story that I came to know when I started sharing my thoughts.
Padma, you are the editor of the book series, Talking Fingers, Voices of Indian Non-Speaking Autistics. What have you learned editing these books about the experiences of non-speaking autistics in India?
First of all, I want to say that I was the co-editor for the first volume, along with my friend Chitra Paul. But for the second volume, I am the solo editor because she had other commitments and I wanted to carry forward the legacy. Coming back to your question, the experience of editing Talking Fingers has been a life-changing one for me. And I would like to share 4 points, 4 points. First of all, it has filled my heart with gratitude for the opportunity to play a small role in the life of these 32 co-authors. And I'm immensely proud of every one of them. And secondly, I have learned the power of communication. When they speak from the heart, it touches the hearts of so many people. And it has the potential to change the hearts when something is coming from the depth of your heart. And our co-authors' lived experience has created new pathways for inclusion in our society. I have realized that true change is possible by uniting with others and to create a lasting impact that transcends borders and demographics is possible because they have come out and shared their experience. Thirdly, there is a wealth of lived experience in our books, and it has enabled me to unlearn a few of my previous misconceptions or perceptions, learn new ones, and learn to adapt. And hopefully, it has made me a better ally in the process. Lastly, while I'm proud of their resilience, I wish that they didn't have to be so resilient. I wish that they were born in a society that accepted them and embraced them as they are, so that they didn't have to be resilient. This last point was the only thing that troubled me. They had to go through so.
Typically in books like Talking Fingers, you read essays and life stories from the authors, but instead you used a Q&A format for these books. Why did you choose to kind of approach this thing differently and use that format instead?
I agree with you that that's generally the norm in anthologies, but we wanted to try something different. Ask questions no one has asked them so far. Questions that go way beyond aspects of daily living. And the way our co-authors have responded has proved that this was an effective way to show the world that unless we give them an opportunity, we'll never realize their true potential and the depth of their thoughts. And I'm saying this from my personal experience because my son is one of the co-authors. And though we have deep conversations on a regular basis, I never asked him this question. And when I saw his answers, I realized that I should have done this earlier, a lot earlier. And I'm sure that other parents in our community will agree that though we live with them all the time, their answers in the book have showed us a new personality of the people that we have lived with. This is from a personal perspective. From this Q&A format, I received a phenomenal response from the society at large, from the special needs community in particular, because it showcased that it is high time that we use MAC to go beyond the basic needs for our non-speakers.
Now, in addition to your book series, you've created Talking Fingers magazine. What opportunities might there be for non speaking autistics to share their thoughts with the world in this magazine?
Talking Fingers magazine was born out of the thought process that every step in the communication journey should be celebrated, and also the importance of art as a medium of expressing our thoughts. Our magazine celebrates multiple intelligence. And to my knowledge, this is the only magazine that features shared writing and shared art too. The magazine is also designed by a non speaking autistic. So, in a way, it showcases the spectrum of possibilities and balance within the autism community. And it is a testament to the power of assuming competence. The messages we receive from the families that share their happiness when the children see their name, photo, when their work featured in the magazine is so encouraging, is the best outcome we could have hoped for.
Navneet, in Talking Fingers magazine, I read a poem titled Portrait of My Emerging Future. And you mentioned something that I'm always trying to do when you mention, I want to fill my heart with more gratitude. When you think about gratitude, what are some of the things you're grateful for?
I love this question. Doug Lecker, I am grateful to Padma answer for this interview. I am grateful to this life for giving me strength to forgive past life regression. Autism is my divinity, so I am grateful to my mind for being different. I am grateful to my parents for being my support system. Gratitude is my attitude. Always be grateful for this life because this life was lived once.
Absolutely. I'm trying to do that each day, Navneet. Some days I do better than others. Now, Navneet, I read another poem you wrote titled Reimagine, Rethink, Restore. And at the beginning of this poem, you wrote, Reimagine to build a new world where doctors show kindness. Now, I've supported people in going to many doctor's appointments and have seen sometimes it works out well, and sometimes maybe the doctors do not necessarily show this kindness. So, in what ways can doctors show you and other non speaking autistics kindness?
I am able to share my physical condition, but not all other non-speaking autistics may be able to express, so I want doctors to be more empathetic. Taking autistic children to hospital is a traumatic experience for every autistic parent. Sitting outside the cabin waiting for their turn was like a generation gap. Receptionists are impatient. Hospitals should maintain the time at appointments. Doctors should know that autism is not a disease. It is a disorder. Treat us like a friend. We need a good friend to share our emotional pain. Some children are given sedation drugs. What is sedation? You know better than what it means to be sedated. We cannot imagine. Everything is unfairly not fault. Body is rigid with movements. It affects brain reflexes, gutter juice, horror thoughts than mine. I want to ask doctors why are autistic kids given sedation drugs? To make a child calm and relaxed, is swooping on sedation the only solution? I know that seizure medications are sedative and it is needed to calm the brain, but not all seizures are the same. Doctors should read the conditions before giving medicine.
And lastly, how can our listeners learn about talking fingers, non-speaking autistics beyond this interview?
We have a YouTube channel that has the interviews of the families and also different presentations where our co-authors have shared their thoughts. And while you are there, I would request you to check out our short film too. It was launched on the World Disability Day, December 24. And it's just been 1.5 months, and we have already received a great response from the mainstream film festivals because the short film features the co-authors and most of the script is in their words. We have already won 2 awards and are keeping fingers crossed that our message reaches more and more people.
Well, I love watching films, so I definitely will look forward to watching that film at some point. Padma and Navneet, thanks so much for joining me here today on Autism Stories.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much to Padma and Navneet for the conversation. To learn more about Talking Fingers magazine, please check out the link in the podcast description for this episode. We always love hearing from you, and would especially love to hear from you relating to this episode regarding how do you practice expressing gratitude in your life? Did you know Autism Personal Coach provides neurodiversity affirming support by autistics for autistics? We empower autistic adults and teens to be the best version of their authentic selves through our customized life coaching and community groups. We also support parents and partners of autistic individuals by providing insights and guidance to bridge communication gaps and nurture mutual understanding. So please visit autismpersonalcoach.com to begin your experience of judgment-free coaching rooted in empathy, expertise, and respect for autistic identity. Until next time, I'm Doug Bletcher of Autism Personal Coach. Talk to you then.